All right, let's dive right in. We're going to break down this single really beautiful moment, a winter morning in Brighton, England. It's Sunday, just before 8:45 a.m., and the city is, still mostly asleep. What we're going to uncover is a whole story told in layers, layers of light, of history, and of the landscape itself.
And that just nails the feeling, right? There's this very specific stillness to a winter Sunday morning, and this quote captures it perfectly. It's not just quiet, it's like this moment of a collective pause, a deep breath before the day really kicks off. You can almost feel that cold air and the silence just hanging over the rooftops.
So, here's the big question we're exploring. Because the first thing that grabs you here isn't the buildings, it's the light. The whole city seems to be glowing from the inside out. We're going to break down exactly what creates this incredible effect, from the science of the atmosphere to the history that's literally baked into the buildings. Okay, first up, let's talk about the conditions that create this winter gold. It's a really precise mix of the exact time and the sun's position in the sky. The key detail here is the time of year. It's late November, so the sun doesn't just rise, it kind of drags itself along the horizon. This really low angle is absolutely crucial. It transforms the chaotic jumble of a city into something way simpler, almost abstract, and it just paints everything with this intense golden light.
So, let's get into the physics behind that morning glow, because this isn't just a pretty color, there's a specific atmospheric phenomenon at work here.
Yep, this magic actually has a name, Rayleigh's Scattering. This is the scientific principle that's responsible for why our sky is blue, and also why sunrises and sunsets are so brilliant. It really all comes down to how sunlight interacts with the air itself. Okay, so here's how it works in simple terms. Because the sun is so low, its light has to travel through a much thicker slice of Earth's atmosphere to get to our eyes. Now think of the atmosphere as a giant filter. As sunlight passes through it, all the tiny air molecules scatter the shorter blue wavelengths away. So by the time the light gets to us, pretty much all that's left are the longer wavelengths, the reds, the oranges, and these deep golds. And that's the glow.
Now that we get the light, let's look at what that light reveals. As we peer into that glare, the city becomes a silhouette. And that shape, well, that shape tells a story.
This silhouette is Brighton's signature. It's not some smooth line of skyscrapers, it's this jagged rhythmic pattern. The source calls it a chimneyscape, which is just a perfect word for this mechanical-looking forest that cuts across the sky.
So this unique skyline comes from the city's Victorian terraced houses. They were built back in the 1800s for a booming population, so it was all about high density. And the reason the roofs are stepped like that is actually a really clever adaptation to Brighton's incredibly steep hills and valleys.
And here's where the human element really hits you. We're seeing hundreds of these chimney pots. Back in the 19th century, these weren't a design choice. They were an absolute necessity. Every single one represents a fireplace, the one source of heat for a family, all fueled by coal. It's a skyline that tells the story of survival.
Now, as the light shifts a little and the glare fades, details start to emerge from the shadows. And we start to see this fascinating conversation going on between the city's past and its present.
First thing you noticed are the bright facades on the old houses. That's stucco, which is a render they put over the brick. You see, in a seaside town, that salty, damp air is just relentless, and it would destroy raw brickwork. So the stucco acts like the city's essential raincoat.
And this brings us to this really cool contrast. On one hand, you have the soft, almost crumbling textures of the 19th century houses, built for horizontal density. And then, right next to them, you have the sharp, geometric lines of modern buildings, a symbol of the city's 21st century vertical ambition. It's a living timeline, right there in the skyline.
Finally, let's zoom all the way out, past the rooftops, past the modern buildings, because we're going to find the one single element that defines this entire landscape. This whole view is built in layers. Right up close in the foreground, you see the industrial textures of modern rooftops, vents and railings. Then, in the middle ground, you have the historic Victorian homes. And in the background, anchoring everything, is the calm, infinite line of the English Channel.
And this is the ultimate takeaway. Even from way up here, miles from the shore, the presence of the sea is everything. All of these streets, all of these houses, they're all cascading down the hills, pointed towards that one single line of water. The sea is, without a doubt, Brighton's true anchor.
So when you put it all together, the golden light, the cool blue shadows, the silent chimneys, and that distant sea, you get more than just a picture of a city. You capture a specific mood. It's this feeling of quiet anticipation, of a city suspended in a moment of winter gold, just about to wake up.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought. This whole story was pulled from just a single glance at a skyline. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? The next time you look out over your own town or city, what stories of science, history, and survival are hidden in the shapes you see every single day?